Welcome to Oh Brother, a podcast of three brothers trying to figure it all out, with your hosts, Brandon, Collin, and Aaron. On this week's show, wedding planning. If I had to start it all over again, I would just found an HR company where businesses, small, medium-sized businesses, would hire you to handle all of their HR issues, and just make gobs of money for people's awful mistakes and live a happy life.
Wow, no one's bitter about anything today, are they? It's just very...
No. Turns out when you hire people, you have HR stuff, and then it's fun. It's fun trying to be compliant and stuff, and learning all of those things. I will say, thankfully, they have taken a quote unquote HR manager position and just turned it into like a monthly subscription where you get access to like a HR person that you can reach out to any questions, and they like review your documents for your company and make sure you're not being like just totally awful. They'll let you be a little awful, but not totally. And it's actually really nice.
That's crazy. I did not know that such a thing existed.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'm not surprised really now that I think about it, but like, yeah, I would not have. But of course, I'm not very businessy. So like, these are things that I don't.
Yeah, no, I didn't know either really about it. And then the company that handles our HR and stuff, of our payroll, has like all these tools for like onboarding, and you can link it to all these different apps and things. And then they're like, oh yeah, we also offer HR. And I was like, what? Tell me more. And it's great. They've got like this big library of documents that they're just big templates, and they'll auto plug all of your business information into them when you download them. So you can just, have all this stuff on hand to use so that you're being compliant. It's a word I've been using a lot today. Am I compliant?
See that? You've already used it like 12 times, and we've been recording for like a minute. So
I know. So there we go. So I have lots of buttons to click, which obviously, I mean, I love. I can look. There's like, there's a drop down here. Oh, look, I can look at federal laws at a glance. What? At a glance, federal laws?
Oh, wow. Just what I always wanted.
Help me.
I was going to say, you need to step away from the menus. Don't go near those things.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's
good stuff.
These are things that I don't understand. Like I've mentioned several times in the past, I'm sure. Every time at the beginning of the school year, when our like lady has to stand up there and talk about this kind of thing, I'm just like, I just sort of stare at her. And I'm like, I don't understand literally any of the words that you just said to me. So I don't.
Oh, I know. Like
any questions? I'm like, no, we're gonna go with no, because
yeah, I immediately start looking for the translator, because usually when somebody from HR or like benefits is there, I'm like, no, never mind, I'm out. You're not going to be able to use words that make sense to me.
Oh yeah, the worst one is this. There's a lady that comes from like, I don't really know, like the outside, some sort of outside agency that we contract through. I think it has to do with like retirement / investments. Yes. And she will come and she will say words, and she'll be like, she's talking, and I actually have no idea what she's saying. Mm-hmm. Right. She's like saying all this stuff, and like, she's like, yeah, but if you do this, blah, 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 but then this way, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what? Well, I don't know what any of those words are.
Yeah. And it just gets worse when they talk about certain things. And yeah, the outside people that come in that are contracted through are even worse because they literally their entire job is just to go from business to business or place of employment to place of employment and give the same presentation and pass out the same forms and then say any questions. And you're like, no, these words have become meaningless to you. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, right. And I mean, like, yes, I think it's one of those things where like they deal with that stuff like day in and day out, and so they know exactly what they're talking about. But I don't.
No.
Right. And because I don't do things like that. It doesn't interest me. I don't care. I don't have any interest in any of that world at all. And like I have a hard time understanding it, and I kind of tune out and I zone out, and I understand some of it's important, right? But like not enough to me to matter at this current juncture, right? Like I don't care what you're talking about, right? Like, you know, all these people, you know, they always quote all these like people like, oh, well, who's the I was talking about it the other day, who's the big famous guy that's all over the internet? Oh, that Gary V idiot. He's always like, yeah, do this. These are the things that you do, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, sir, you have millions of dollars. Shut your mouth. I don't care. Like,
man, throwing shade at the V Meister, the V.
Yeah, I don't care about
Chucks. Vayner,
I don't know what his name is.
I don't know.
Whatever. I don't care. He's all blabber on about like NFT this and NFT hot market. Like, dude, these aren't real things. Calm down. But like, if you want to spend all your money on pretend online things, that's fine. It doesn't matter. It's made up. Sure, go for it. I don't care. If somebody can make some money on it, cool. I don't care. I'm not interested. I don't.
I mean, obviously you pay attention to him because you
no, just is like all the time on like he's just like I don't know what has happened, but he'll just like show up on my news feed. Like what did I accidentally click on to see your face? Go away, right?
You're needing that, right? I'm
not
trying. The universe is trying to tell you.
Like one of my friends was talking about this stuff the other day, talking about like investing in stocks and all that. I was like, wow, I don't know. But again, I say these things. I say all these things fully aware that many of the things that I find interesting, no one cares about either.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I am aware. I want the listeners to know I'm not just a grumpy old man. I mean, I am that, but I am also a self-aware grumpy man because I know that I'm not interested in that stuff. But I know that you are also not interested in like, I don't know, guitar fuzz circuit typology. I know that you are not interested in that and don't want to hear me discuss with you the distance between 2, 3, and 4 transistor circuit diagrams. That is not of interest to you, right? You don't care, and I accept that, and that's fine.
But you know, it's
right. Or like, I know you don't want to have a conversation about like, I don't know, the evolution of cuneiform writing. Like, I know you're not interested in any of that. So, like, cool. But, like,
yeah, it's and because people hit those certain level of interests at different times, right? And they solve them in different ways. Like, I know people who like were like, ooh, I need to save for the future. So they like dive in and learn everything they can. They basically become like semi-professional day traders, right? Where like that's like they manage everything themselves. Like that's one way. And then there are other people who are like, yeah, there's just somebody like, or you know, like I have a fund through my company, or you know, for as a teacher, like that's where things go, and I don't really have to worry about it. And there you go. Like you're interested in it just enough to like start, and then you put it on autopilot, and you're like, okay, well, anyway, I have other things to do.
Mine isn't even that much. They like sign this paper so we can start this thing. Like, okay, whatever.
Amazing.
It's fine, whatever. I don't care. But like, I fully understand that like not everybody has the same interest, which is good, right? Yeah. The world would be very boring if everybody talked about the same thing all the time.
True enough. Fair.
So like, I get it. Right. But also, I don't stand up here and like try to shove my weird interest down your throat, right? So go away. I don't want to hear.
I know. I think I'm hearing that we got to get some NFTs for the oh brother. I don't know what we were.
Yeah. I don't even know what those letters actually stand for.
Gotta get a blockchain and do some stuff. Gotta start accepting crypto. Gotta get
these
Doge.
are words that I've heard.
We gotta get Doge.
I know whenever you say blockchain, the first thing that comes to my mind is actually a block and tackle. For like moving logs and stuff, right? That's the first thing I think about.
But it is a decision you could make, I guess. Aaron, what our NFTs look like for our Oh Brother store?
I have no idea what NFTs are. I have
me neither.
I have no business savvy. The same thing with Brandon. Every time there's a guy that's on there that talks about like, if you want to get better, you got to maximize this. Like, I don't know who you are. I don't know where you came from. Why are you so angry? So I leave it alone, deal with it. That literally means nothing. And if people are like, oh, do you want to teach a financial literacy class? I'm like, what? What is no? So I don't know what any of those are. I'm so sorry. Acronyms scare me. So
Aaron, I don't think anybody actually knows what it is. That's what from the little that I've read about it, when it shows up in articles or thing like ads before videos that I watch, I don't think anybody knows. No one is sure.
No.
They say words, but I'm going, that sounds made up. Because it is mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best I can understand is imagine it were a piece of art that was sold that you could verify its legitimacy and its entire history of transactions with it, so that you could actually still make multiple copies of them, but they were each individually marked in the digital world. Right. So
why do we care about that?
Well, because
why is that important?
We have those same things in the physical world, right? Like we have some Remington firearms that have the serial numbers like 0021 and 0022 and 0023. Those are physical objects. In the digital world, if somebody sends me a photo of a Rembrandt, I can just copy and paste that and distribute that all over the internet. Now imagine Rembrandt made it in like Word Paint, but then locked it into an NFT, which made that we could confirm that was the original, and then trace it over time. And then they also have links to them. This is the part that I do like. That each time it's sold, you can actually set it up so that the originator, the person the original artist, gets a kickback from every transaction that every time it passes hands, 10% or whatever immediately goes to the original owner.
But why?
I think it's a way to
But I mean, if you is that just because I need more control of my stuff? If I write a book, right, physical paper book, and I sell it, and then somebody buys it and then they resell it, I don't deserve that money. I already sold the book.
Sure.
Right? It seems weird to me that basically you're generating infinite money, right? Because if I make a pretend online poster, right, and then I sell it, and then you buy it, and then you sell it to someone else for some reason. Of course, first of all, I don't know how that would even work. That seems dumb to me. But why would I don't deserve any more money because I already sold it once.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I can't. Why would you make profit off of selling a thing over and over and over again?
Yeah, I think
the same one thing.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Why should you be able to do that?
Well, I think and I think that's just one use of it. I can definitely see in a realm where digital makes things infinitely copyable. It is one way to wrest control back. And if we set aside the finances for a moment, It at least allows things to be identified as this is the original, this is the unique thing. And when you think back to like, the one thing I think for the artists and creators, that's where I really see a lot of the benefit for them to go, no, this is the copy, right? Like,
yes, but here's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you are so concerned about that, why are you working in a medium that is infinitely copyable?
Well, because that's where the audience is. That's where the money is potentially, right? Like if I was an artist, sure, I could go out and I could run a print of 1,000 vinyls, and then those are originals, right? You're not going to be able to really copy those. But that's not really where the market is. So it's trying to take that physical, tangible aspect, which in a sense, to me, kind of defeats the whole aspect of a digital world that I can copy and paste it a billion times. But from a creator, from an economic standpoint, I understand the drive to do that.
So I'm looking at my wall right here. Okay, I have a Picasso painting hanging on my wall.
Yeah,
right. Clearly, not an original Picasso painting. Right. It's a poster. It is a copy of an original work. But why is that bad?
Yeah.
What does the Pablo Picasso estate deserve part of the $12 that I paid for that poster? Because he made it originally? Well, no, right? The original print has a number, and for some archaic reason, we have assigned artificially high value to that original work. Correct? There's no reason that painting is worth more, other than we have assigned it cultural significance, and we have artificially inflated the value of that piece.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This painting, this poster I have, it's bigger than the original work. Right? But it retains a lot of the same elements and characteristics. It's just not the original. And does that mean that it is actually less value because Pablo Picasso didn't breathe on it? In my eyes, no.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that in the rest of the world's eyes, absolutely yes. Right? Like you were talking about like the Remington thing. Like, oh, this is number one. Right?
Yeah.
That's not to me, this is just to me personally, that is not important. Yeah. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Right. And I know that I'm apparently in the minority here. Right. Gary Vee would be spitting and throwing things at me. Right. Just cursing me profanely for being a moron, I imagine. But like,
no.
it's the only reason that these things are worth money is because we artificially assign them value. Right. Just because you're a digital artist that made a painting.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean it's good. It doesn't mean that it has the value, right? There's no value intrinsically in a painted piece of canvas. There's no value intrinsically in a piece of digital art, right? We had to assign it that value.
Yeah.
And there's lots of other like cultural, sociological reasons that go into it, but ultimately it's worthless. Right? It's made up. We've assigned it this value. So I don't understand continuing to like artificially inflate things and like coming up with really, really convoluted reasons why this piece of art is worth money, right? Like, oh, there's only one. Like, okay, cool. There's only one of my sketches I drew in my middle school margins notebook, but nobody cares, right? It's not important. Just because there's one of something doesn't mean it's good or useful, right?
Sure.
Like, so again, this just goes into that whole world of other things I don't understand. Like, why do we just be like, oh no, this is worth a lot of money? Like, who said? The person that made it? I don't really think I should take their word for how much it's worth. Right? Because I think they might be lying to me. I think
yeah, and that is hard because there are people who will say, right, like originality actually means something. Like there, like originality, knowing which one's real and which one's not, in a world of copies, I think is important. Like we do spend a lot of time discerning I guess your rebuttal to that would be like, well, to what end? Like, why does it matter whether this painting was by Michelangelo or not? Do you like the painting or not? Move on.
Yeah.
And this kind of gets to something. I don't know if you saw this piece come out. It's so there's all these prankster artists out there. Banksy's one of them. You know, he shredded his artwork. That was
hilarious.
Auction.
It
was so funny, and then it like totally backfired. Did it? Like, will we ever know?
Yeah, right. The conspiracy theory of like, oh yeah, now it's worth more.
This one.
Because it's now performance art, bro. You're like, dude, come on.
Yeah, no. This is an artist called MSCHF, MSCHF. They bought an original Andy Warhol painting, made literally an exact replica of it, made 999 exact replicas of it using a not just a photocopy process, but an actual drawing process. You know, where it traces on one side and uses the pen on the other, whatever.
Yeah.
Shuffled them into a deck and is auctioning them off.
And see, again, now that the value of this is not the art, it's the performance.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Apparently that has some value.
Yeah. And basically he's saying like, yeah, they're robot generated fakes. And he's selling them for $250 a piece. And one of them might be real, right? There's a 1 in 1,000 chance. And I thought that was a very interesting kind of take on kind of backlash against what we're talking about here of like, no, let's preserve the originals. And we only want originals. And meanwhile, MSCHF is overhearing like, what if we made it more confusing? Wouldn't that be fun?
Well, not only that, like what, you know, I mean, to me, again, like if there's only one in the whole world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're paying for the exclusivity of being the owner of the one thing, right? Like, to me, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of, again, we're just talking about art, right? That defeats the whole purpose of art anyway, because it's for people to see it.
Yeah.
Right? And like to experience an emotion from it. You know? And so I feel like that emotional response and that emotional connection and the thought-provoking nature of pieces of art are not, they don't only show up when you look at the original.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you look at I have a mild obsession with Goya, right? So we're going to talk about Goya in a minute. If you look at the black paintings, okay, they are distressing and they will make you like critically examine lots of things. You don't have to see the original ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can look at a picture online of Saturn devouring his son and be like, yeah, I don't like this. Right? You don't have to do that. And I know this is a bad example because he painted that like without people intending to see it, but like it's a visceral response to something in his life that he painted. And when you look at it, it comes across very abruptly. And it doesn't matter if you're looking at the original on the wall or a photo on the internet, right? If you look at this one, I have the Blue Man, the Picasso Blue Man one on here. I think that's what it's called. I can't forget. I'm probably saying the wrong name. Sorry, Picasso enthusiasts. I really like this painting, right? Like it. I just really like. It's, you know, it says a lot to me on a certain level, and you know, you can kind of see that it's the guy. He's very forlorn. Everything is blue, right? This is the blue period Picasso, clearly. Where like the whole thing is blue. It's very depressing. It's very dour. The look on his face is very sad, right? And the only warm colors in the entire painting are the guitar he's holding, right? Everything else is cool, pale, sad, dour colors, except for the wood on the guitar is a light brown. And so you are kind of understanding that the only warmth and affection that this man has comes from that instrument. Right. And this says a lot of things, but I don't need to see the brushstrokes of the original Picasso to understand that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like it's just, to me, it's silly. Like, ultimately, it's silly to, like, I don't understand exclusivity, right? Like, oh, I'm the only one that has this. Like, cool, I guess. I don't, that's not something I understand the feeling about. Like, it's not something I've ever wanted for my life. Like, oh, I have like one of 50. Like, cool. Like, what does it matter? Are you going to use it or not? Like,
Yeah.
is it a thing that's going to be useful to your life? Could you, I mean, if you drive enjoyment out of that, that's fine. You do you, go for it. But like, that is just a psychological aspect that I don't really follow along with that well. I kind of like don't get the point. Right. I mean, you like what you like. You want cool stuff. You want cool stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Like, do I care that one weird NFT, the ape thing, like sold for the wrong amount of money because people don't understand how decimal points work? No. It's kind of funny, but like, it's not like, who said that was worth that much money?
Exactly.
Right? Who said?
Yeah.
Some random dude? Like, the artist, again, don't trust the artist when they talk about how much things are worth because it's like, yeah, no, totally. It's $1 million, obviously, clearly. What are you talking about?
Yeah, everyone knows that this is you know, it's all fake. Money's fake. Money's not real.
It's true. That is also true.
Aaron, any updates that you want to share or talk about?
Baseball field's coming together. Starting to do some fundraiser stuff for softball, and then it's the week of. We just finished state testing, and so we got this week, and then last day is Friday, and then we got Christmas break. So yeah,
nice. So anyway, back to NFTs.
Yeah, that's the only thing. It's the only thing in your life that you want listeners to know about. Okay, all right, that's cool.
You didn't take a hike up some steps. Anything?
Yeah. Yep. Went and proposed Saturday to Shelby. Went up to Pahuska, had breakfast at the Mercantile, and then her mother was with us.
Yeah.
And so, because it was our 2-year anniversary Tuesday, but I didn't have the ring yet because I took Mimi's ring, and I took her grandmother or her great grandmother's baguette from her ring. I put them together. And so my mind was like, oh, rings, will take about a week or two. And the guy's like, no, how about 4 to 6 weeks? I was like, shoot. So it kind of fell moderately. He's like, well, if your anniversary is 7th, I'll have it done. Oh, whatever the Tuesday was. Yeah. Like, I'll have it done by like the 8th or the 9th. And then so conveniently happened to have it done on the that Thursday, which was, I guess, was the 9th. And it kind of planned out because she had stuff at her school she had to stay late for. I had stuff at my school I had to stay late for. I was like, oh, let's just celebrate our anniversary on the weekend. It's fine. And so
nice.
Planned shucks. With her mom, because I wanted someone there to take pictures of it. And so, I mean, her mom almost ruined the surprise. She's like, because I wasn't going to tell her where we were going. I just wanted to be like, oh, let's get up early, go on a trip. And so, the original plan was to go to a place called Blue Stem Falls, which is outside of Pahuska. But it was too cold, and so I was like, all right, fine, let's just go do something else in there. Her mom was like, why don't we just have breakfast and then we kind of go from there? And I was like, all right, we can do that. So we went up there. I had Mimi's old ring box that her ring's in, and it still has a little note that she wrote to me in it. And so I had that, but the problem is especially when it's cold and you have to wear like joggers. It's very noticeable. So I had to like keep like moving this gigantic box around in my pocket. Um, Shelby was completely oblivious. Thankfully, she just thought we were going to go up there and just spend a few hours and then have our real anniversary like the afternoon. She's like, oh, let's just go up there and have breakfast with my mom. No big deal. So we go up there, go to the mercantile, shop around for a little bit, and then we go for a walk. And I kind of planned it with her mom. Like, all right, look, there's some stairs that lead up to the courthouse there in Bahaga because is on a hill. It overlooks the city. It's beautiful. It's kind of where one of our first true dates were. And plus, I credit Bahaga during my time with DHS. It's kind of where we got reconnected because I did training in Oklahoma City. And if it wasn't for that job in Bahaga, don't think I would have ever re-met Shelby. And so we went up these stairs, but Shelby, in her wonderful sweetness, just like takes off up these stairs. And I was like, oh, we're running. Okay, so I take off. And if you guys ever come down, there's downtown Pahuska, where they actually shot a lot of the scenes for The Kill of the Flower Moon. There's a stair step that leads past, like up a hill, and then there's a road, and then it goes up another hill to a courthouse. So it's kind of like a two big set hill. So I mean, they're big. There are a lot of stairs. And so I'm thinking she's just going to go to the first tier. All right, boom. This is good enough. We're fine. No, she takes off like Rocky Balboa upstairs. And so her poor mother and myself are having to like truck after her. And we kind of planned it. So we're like, oh, like we're going to say a code word and blah, blah, blah. But the problem is when we both got to the top, her mother and myself, Shelby was up there like looking around. We were both just like gasped for air. And so I was like, hey, Shelby, what? You see that over there? The good old like, hey, what's that over there? Correct. And she turned, and thankfully her mother had her phone ready. Nice. And it just happened. And she turned around, and I don't know if you guys got to see the video of it.
Yeah, we did.
Shelby, the first reaction was epic, but and people were like, so I said Shelby, I held the ring. She's like, oh, and like she said something, and then she like takes the ring. And some people are like, well, how come you didn't ask her? I'm like, technically I did, because I was like, well, you marry me afterwards, but I was just gasped for air. And I was like,
she's taking me time. It's like, Shelby. And then she was like, wham.
Will you marry me? And so she said, oh, I think it's funny because in the video you hear her say, thank you. And then she like takes the ring. Yeah. And then she says yes.
Yeah.
And then we rejoiced in merriment. She was not expecting that ring. She was actually expecting like her grandmother's ring or her great grandmother's ring, because her mom told her that she was getting resized, and she's like, "Oh, due to COVID, we have to wait longer." And so she was being a little nosy. She almost ruined the surprise like a week in advance, because I had Mimi's ring. Oh, no. She's like, I started taking it out and thinking it's pretty, and just looking at it like, don't touch it. No, don't touch it. And so I had to hide it like 7 times because he's nosy. And then like the night before, she was all like, when is it going to happen? I don't know. And I was like, just be patient.
It's like, yep, me neither.
You're fine. And so she thought I was going to propose on Christmas.
Oh.
And my actual original plan was to do it when we did the family pictures. However, miscalculation on time-wise, I didn't have the ring like at all. Like it was still like being put all together. And so I was like, oh.
Sure.
Sweet. So I just had like contingency plan after contingency plan. And so yeah, we called everybody. We called you guys. Called Dad. He was, of course, getting breakfast somewhere.
No.
And you hear the diner stuff in the background, but he was happy. I FaceTimed Uncle Gary and Aunt Meredith. They were super stoked, which we're actually going to go see this weekend.
Mhm.
And because they've never met her, so we're going to go do the family tour. Yes, I think so. Yeah, it was. It you know she is very excited. I'm very excited. We're already planning things and looking at wedding venues, and she's already got stuff for bridesmaids. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I have that many friends, so might just have to start pulling people that I meet out the street to be like, hey, here's an invite back. So, for things. So yeah, it's going. We're gonna look at venues when we come back from Kansas City. And then, yeah, looking at some stuff here in Oklahoma, venue wise,
Nice.
for some things. But yeah, it was a very wonderful moment.
That's
And
the most
best decision I've ever made.
right.
And am I saying that just because Shelby is looking at me?
Yes.
But
Aaron blinked twice. No.
Yeah. I think the venue procurement is probably the weirdest, most stressful thing in the history of the universe. Right? Like that's like
Yeah.
That's a fun time.
Yeah. So I mean, there's different options that we're looking at. We're having price thought of, but there's a lot of things that we're just looking at as like this place is really pretty, or oh, this place has really good food. Our biggest thing that we've both agreed on is like we're gonna have good food regardless. So that's our number one thing at the moment. I was like, I don't care about where it is, as long as there's good food, we'll be happy. So
Oh yeah. And then you have to go pick out cakes that you won't eat. That's fun. I love that.
Well, so it's convenient / inconvenient because Shelby started planning this stuff when it's in the start of baseball and softball season. So I'm like, oh no, I got a game. So no, I'll be helping. I'll be on FaceTime a lot if I'm at school doing stuff. But I will be. She's also looking at me now. We'll be helping facilitate any decision making that is decided and or selected for the betterment of our wedding.
Oh yes, I helped a lot by staying out of the way and
not helping.
going away.
Helped a lot by staying out of the way. So
it's true.
So
Susan was just like, you know what? Never mind. I'll do this. I'm like,
this is
okay.
We're both gonna enjoy this better if you just don't.
Yeah.
Oh, Shelby has an Excel sheet of venues. If I need to upload them later.
There you go. Yeah, the deciding factor in our venue was the lady was like, yeah, we have chefs in a kitchen and we take care of everything. And I was like, done. Okay.
Yeah, that's not what we look at, is that it's all inclusive.
It was more expensive, but I did not care. It was worth it. It was like, okay, all we had to do was like find a person to bake the cake. It was like, done. Okay.
Which I might have a contact for photos and cake making, by the way.
There you go. See?
I'll think of it in a second. I'm friends with. I went to college with them. So, but yeah, the other big thing we talked about is, since we were both coffee drinkers, we were thinking about having like a little coffee bar there. And if food is out of the way, we're thinking about getting like a food truck, like a little taco truck or something.
Nice.
We thought about getting like a little coffee cart, because you can rent those, but we were also just going to possibly just get a bunch of stuff and have coffee stuff there, like Keurig, and then people who like iced coffees and lattes, because there's one day we went to the same coffee place, like,
was this like, are you getting married at breakfast time? Is this what's happening? Is this an AM wedding?
7 a.m.
Oh dear. Oh no.
I will require. Obviously, you must have the official Oh Brother breakfast item of egg sandwich.
Yeah, we need an egg cart. What type of eggs?
Yes, Aaron. You've got the little chef behind there. You've got the coffee bar. You have the egg bar. But they have three things. They have scrambled, over easy, and sandwich.
Sandwich. How do you like your eggs? Sandwich, bro.
A caterer served brunch. So that might be a possibility.
Yes, as long as they have eggs, because we are taking an egg picture at your wedding.
Yes.
I'm just so you know. It can be unofficial with a phone. Okay, not official wedding photographer, but
Aaron, you can actually go sit in the other room. Bring Shelby over here. We need to plan this out.
Yeah, okay, we got this.
Enjoy.
And so, I knew I wanted it to be in at least a 2-year time frame, because like I felt like that was like a good amount of time. And plus, like I've been having this built up plan the whole time, but like my plan kept being put to the side because like, well, crap, I don't necessarily have a ring. I'm like, oh well, I'm going to do it in fall. Like, oh well, all the leaves are dead. And so, like I had like between here and here, and her mother really helped me out with like picking the ring, because they'd be like, oh, so what kind of fleured baguettes do you want? Like, oh, fleured baguettes. Oh,
what?
I'm not ordering bread.
On the side. Oh, okay, sweet. Like, oh, it's like, oh, what if we do a white gold one is laced on the side? Like, oh, so
yeah, it's okay.
She helped me kind of pick out, because she knew the color, I knew the size, and the lady that we worked with was just like, she came up with all of these amazing things that we used, and she had a blast, and she would text me pictures off and on, and she was more hyped than like we were for our wedding, and so or for the ring, and so she was wonderful to work with. There's a place in Owasso that I forgot. But this place it's really fancy, but they have these dogs that just like walk around. They're like older dogs, and they're really sweet, and that's partially why I use them, because it's close and they have dogs. What's that place?
Fair enough.
From? John Kohler in Owasso. By the way, shout out. But yeah, so they have these really cool dogs. They have a really old dachshund. Oh, he's so sweet. Why you bought my ring? That maybe the decision of why I bought the ring. But yeah, so that was our fun. Or that was our weekend excursion, and it was a blast.
Nice.
So.
Very exciting.
She says she cannot wait to be your all sister-in-law. So
yeah,
woohoo!
Absolutely.
They said woohoo.
Sure.
Woohoo.
And
With a little more enthusiasm than that. Come on, give us some credit.
Sure. Yeah, come on, man.
Woo!
Yeah, that was better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Hooray.
Yeah.
So now the venue hunting. You have to go 75 different places, and they're all slightly not right. And like
I guess she has a spreadsheet, and I thought she was joking, but she showed me.
Why? Why would you think she was joking about that?
So there's it's a mixture of like, all right, so there's a venue in Springfield that she looked at, and she thinks it's gorgeous, but like trying to find like the happy medium between like her family traveling and our family traveling.
Sure.
It's more likely going to be possibly here in Oklahoma, because there's some venues that are just significantly cheaper but offer more. I told her we're probably going to be a baller on a budget for a while, and so just to get some things acclimated and get set up. But we're looking at one, whatever the 22nd is. We're going to one that's like near a lake. We're looking at having it not in like typical like wedding season, like during the spring or summer. It'll mostly kind of be like fall-ish or winter. But if it's
December, maybe. Some say December is a good month to get married.
So
some say
I've heard that's a good time.
January is a good one too. Man, I've seen winter weddings. Oh no,
Here we go.
Well, so she was thinking about that, and she's like, when did your oldest brother get them married? I was like, December, and she's like, wait, so what about Collin and Megan? I was like, January. She's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I know. Hey, it'll be fine. We'll be all right. Don't worry about it.
February. February.
February.
Yeah, February.
I'm
So I was
lobbying
like,
for
well, it's
February.
easy,
The worst
easy to
weather
remember.
possible.
It's true.
And that honestly might be where it is because a lot of those venues are significant. Like the prices drop in February. And I'm
See?
like, perfect. So,
Boom.
if the winter's been anything like this, where it's like, oh man, it's winter and it's 65 degrees. Hopefully,
like-
let's push out.
I would like to cast your mind back a year ago.
I know when it was
When
not
December was like, no, December was like 60, 65 degrees.
Yes.
And then January came. And then February came. Snowpocalypse 2020 came. I didn't go to work for 2 weeks because there was so much snow outside my house.
I still have to work. That sucks. So there's a venue that has a like several $1,000s off in March, but it has like this coming March, and she's like, "Do you think we can get planned in like 3 months?" Like,
No.
nope,
Absolutely not.
nope,
You're
nope.
fine. Fine.
And so she's like, "But we'll get it super cheap," and I was like, "Nope, nope, nope, nope. Let's enjoy this moment. Let's not rush and sprint through things." So,
Yeah, you don't want to do that. That's not.
it was, it was a pretty awesome experience. I had no idea what I was doing. I just found myself on one knee, gasping for air, almost dropping a box down the stairs.
No!
Because it got caught in my jacket, and I was pulling it, and I was still trying to keep it distracted. I was just like pulling it, and then like her box, but Nina's box is just like hard to open. So I was like, fidget, 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 got it! And I was like, Shelby, here it is. Ta-da. Still gasping for breath. But in between our air intake, she managed to say yes. So it counts. It takes you back to your mother said I can't. If I have to lose the receipts, I can't take it back. So
Wow.
Dang. Harsh words. Encouragement.
It's harsh
encouraging.
words.
We'll say it's encouraging words.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Encouraging. Yay.
I'm interested to know more about these spreadsheets, if I may, for a moment. What are in the columns? What are we categorizing wedding venues on?
Spreadsheets for the venues. What are we talking about? So like what's in the columns? What's the categories?
What are the categories?
All right, so venue, location, guest list,
catering,
number, catering,
flowers,
if provided or not,
food,
provided or not,
everything else,
and
cake,
and it take provided or not, and then like
musical entertainment, photo booth.
yeah, like the whole shebang of things. If they provide them, and then she has like their contact information, website, email, phone number, all that stuff, and so she can just pull it up willy nilly.
Mm-hmm.
She had finals this week, and so she had a lot of free time.
Sure. I didn't hear anything in there about bounce houses. So you might want to check into that.
Bouncy houses.
True.
For Lily Noah, obviously.
Yeah, it needs to be rated a little bit higher weight than that. I feel like that's
like a my weight.
He almost said
Hi.
Sorry.
But yeah, so things like that. But there's how many is around here? Yeah.
Only one venue's in Missouri, and there's like 6 in Oklahoma.
Yeah, so one's in Missouri, and then there's like 6 here.
Shelby's mom won't let her go to the one.
But Shelby's mom is staunch on not the one in Missouri. But
I mean, that makes sense because you live in Oklahoma. So like, yeah. It would make most sense to get married where you live.
Make it a destination wedding in Missouri.
I said we could do it on our balcony here. We just
That's true.
You guys in the parking lot, and then afterwards we just come in here and party.
Okay.
Out here, It was super, super low budget.
Make
I couldn't
eggs.
find like 12 people.
That egg party.
Yeah.
Egg party. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ugh. Besides that, I mean, like I said, school's almost done. Got my observation done today. Most of my other teachers are pretty hyped for me. Well, my teachers are like, "Well, I just do something stupid like that." And I was like, "Hey, now." But I didn't know it was going to be observed today, and we had 2 days of state testing. And I was like, "Yeah, we're going to put on a movie." And I was getting it set up, and then my principal walked in. I was like, we're watching a documentary
Just kidding.
on self-isolation and how the mental effects of bullying during the holidays causes the social impact on a community. And my students were really confused, but my principal started laughing. Like, "Are you watching The Grinch?" I'm like, "We are playing the movie." And so I got really good scores. But yeah, that was my week's been very interesting, to say the least.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good times. Happy fun time. I didn't do anything near that exciting. I tried to survive the last week of sixth graders. Always challenging. So making it. That's what.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that's it. We didn't do anything cool. Well, actually, no. Saturday. Saturday? Yes. Saturday, we went to a concert.
Yes. Tell me how was okay. Yes. I saw Susan post a photo. Looks like a lot of fun. How was that?
Yo, it was awesome. Right. So we went to see the Postmodern Jukebox tour in Springfield at the Galois Theater.
Explain.
Right. It was awesome. So Postmodern Jukebox it's a YouTube channel, right? So it started by this guy, Scott Bradley. And he started doing it like forever ago. And he's been on YouTube for like a million years now. And he's like a piano player guy. He does stuff, and he does vintage inspired covers of modern pop songs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So he'll do them in like 1920s ragtime style or like 1970s soul, right? And they just they do covers of like modern songs, but in these like really crazy vintage styles, and their videos are like sick, right? Like the musicianship and the singing is like, it's off the chart. It's like so good. So we went to their live show in Springfield, and holy cow, it was awesome.
Yeah, did they have similar performance, or how was it staged? Because I was curious
much
about
more
that too.
High energy, right? So they had 4 different singers. Okay, so they had a bass player, guitar player, piano player, drummer, and then a trombone player and a guy that played winds. He played an assortment of saxophone, clarinet, and flute, right? And so they did all their musical numbers that way. And there's the tap dancing guy, dude. Like, tap dancing has literally never been so cool as this guy.
That's awesome.
But they have 4 singers, so they had 3 ladies and a guy, and they just sort of like rotated it out, right? So they like one lady would come out and sing their song, and then the next time it would be another lady, and sometimes they would come out together, or sometimes it was all of them, right? And then the dude would come out and sing. Like, they just like rotated out that way. Like each singer was like saying like certain songs, you know, and they would switch out, and there was like literally costume changes for the singers like every single time they're on stage. So that's yeah, it was crazy. Like the spangliness of the dresses was like literally blinding at one point. So they would switch up costumes for whatever song it was, right? Like, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, it was cool though. It was really fun. It was like really high energy, lots of excitement. So I went with Susan and a couple of our friends from school. Right, we went with the history teacher and the high school choir director. Went.
Oh, neat.
Yeah,
that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fun. So we all went, and 4 of us went down there, and we ate. Like first, we went to Nona's because obviously it's like right there. Like, okay, well, I mean, do I want delicious Italian food? Yes, I do. And then we just went to the theater there. It's pretty nice. It was really fun. So it was like the sound was like really good in there. Like their sound engineer people were like just off the chart, right? Like it's really good. Sounded immense. Tap dancing guy is a fool. Like just like craziness. Like they just had like this thing on stage. There's like this big square, just like hardwood.
Yeah.
And he would come out and he would like dance to the songs a couple times, or like sometimes like part of the rhythm of the song was like him. Right? Like cool. It's like he's like part of the rhythm section at some points. And then there was like a feature thing where he did like it was like a feature of just him and his dancing abilities, which are wow, dude.
Shocking.
Wow. Like yeah, shocking, right? Like you go out and do that, and like they were like he did one of them was like a Mario medley. It was hilarious. Like
really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was like the Super Mario like medley of like all the songs, like the Bowser's Castle and like the Yoshi Island and like the main theme, right? It was hilarious. Where again, like part of the rhythm of the song is his tap dancing.
Yeah.
Which is mildly crazy.
Yeah. It makes it really just really super unique. And rather stomp-esque, I guess.
Yeah, little flair, added flair there. Yeah, it was crazy. It was really good, and like again, like the musicianship is just like top tier, right? It's like really good, and the singers are just you could like feel. There was one lady, I don't remember what her name was now, but like you could basically feel her voice like punching you in the chest. Like, and we were sitting in the balcony, so it's like, oh my, oh my gosh. And probably the biggest surprise of all, I'm standing there, I come out of the bathroom, I walk into the main hallway in the glories, to go upstairs, and I'm standing there and I'm staring at this dude, and all of a sudden I'm like, I know that guy. Holy cow. It was Bluto from college. Yeah. Him and his family were there walking into the thing.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Of course,
it was absolutely hysterical.
Of course he would be there. I think it's very real. I feel like yes, but
yeah, right. Yeah. So I've seen this guy in years. Like we used to play music together. We played in the jazz band together at college.
Yeah.
Right. And so he was standing there with his wife and his 2 kids, and I was like, "What?" And she was like, "Oh my god!" It was hysterical.
That's so cool.
Of course, I called him. I like yelled Bluto out through the hallway, and like that's not his real name. Obviously, listeners, this is his moniker. We called him that because he literally looks like Bluto from Popeye. He is an enormous man. But he was like, his kids started laughing, and he turned around real quick because he was like, "What? Why does it
probably
who said that?"
Yeah.
Because like people don't, I don't think he probably goes by that name anymore, and so like he was like, "Whoa!"
So what is he? Yeah. So did you guys get a chance to get caught up, or was it kind of like, oh, we gotta move on?
Just a little bit because we had to go inside. But yeah, he's doing stuff. He's teaching his daughter how to play saxophone. And I was like, "Oh yeah." And he was like, "Yes, it's a little stressful, but it's like so." Doing the dad thing, right? Run his kids all around everywhere, everything, right? His wife is still working at her job. She's like a pharmacist or whatever. So,
oh, cool.
So yeah, that was pretty sweet. That was pretty random encounter of the highest order. Old college music buddy showed up at the postmodern jukebox lobby in the thing. So that was hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, but that's really cool. And I think what's kind of neat is kind of you guys had that same interest in jazz, that musical style, and then you kind of been out of contact for a little bit, and then you reconnect. You're like, oh, hey, yeah, this is Again, that's why when you said Bluto, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense given what I know. So,
and like I was like everybody else had started to go upstairs when I had this realization. So Susan was coming back down the stairs, and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Bluto's here." And she's like, "What? Where?" So she got to meet him because she's never actually met him before. So she met him, and we would talk to there a little bit, and he made fun of me, obviously, like you do. And then classic musicianship, like ribbing. He was like, "Yeah, I went to the 6th grade band concert the other day. Thought of you." I was like, haha, thank you.
Oh, you got to do that, I guess.
I know, you got to do that. I was like, well, at least my music has never been written up in the paper as being terrible. So, like, come on.
I never got bad reviews, right?
Yeah. He once played the Star Spangled Banner slightly a la Jimi Hendrix, and some dude wrote like a really angry op-ed in the paper about like how horrible it was and like how terribly un-American it was. Yeah. So it's okay. I thought it was good. So like I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
it's a good rendition. So that's fine.
Exactly. It is.
So yeah, that was my excitement for the week. Random old friend sighting in downtown Springfield. That was pretty cool. That was a fun time. But the show was great, right? It was really good. So if you're not listening to Postmodern Jukebox already, you should be. They're on Spotify. They have a YouTube channel. They have all these sorts of videos on there. You can see all the performances and all the different stuff, right? Lots of guest musicians and different people singing songs and stuff. It's really good. The arrangements are great, right? So highly recommend Postmodern Jukebox. If you can't watch them in person, definitely be listening to their stuff. Good.
Link in show notes.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, but jeez. Oh, well, I don't know. Did you guys, Aaron, you had power that you lost for a little bit, but you guys are all safe and sound now.
Well, so not power here. So we actually lost power 3 times down at school today. It was really windy and it was dark, and then it'd be really sunny and windy, but then it'd be dark again and windy. So we lost but it was like the first time was like a flicker, but it was like off for maybe like a minute and back on, and then later at the end of the day we lost power again, got it back on, and we lost power for like 10 minutes, and then it came back on, and then we were fine. So nothing here in town here yet, but today sporadically, due to wind and starting conditions, we did lose power. Yes.
Ooh, yeah, we were under a wind advisory most of the day. We had like 30 plus mile an hour winds all day. That's
Kansas
great.
City, apparently, they had one of our clients, he and his wife are taking flight lessons, and she was supposed to fly today.
Not a day for that.
Ooh, they had to cancel it. They had 60-mile-an-hour winds at the airport.
Oh my God.
60. And I looked to Megan and I was like, I feel like we're in Lubbock again, where it's just like, oh, it's mildly breezy and it's 40. And you're like, what? I am terrified of this. But yeah,
it's not a breeze.
No, it's been bad all day today. I had several drop-ins going into people's houses and letting the dogs out in the backyard. And I'd have to like get outside in the backyard really quick, shut the door, make sure the fence was still there. And, and then let the dog out. It was like, this is a day where I let him out, and then I look in the front yard and see the dog running down the street. And I go, oh, the fence must be flat.
Fence is gone. Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, Thankfully, they ended up blowing through and we didn't have any major storms, but I think we may get another round here. Maybe. But,
Yeah, we're supposed to have some in about an hour.
okay.
According to the radar. But it looks less than it did. Like, it looks like less together.
Yeah.
Sort
Same.
of. So
I kept
that's
getting
good.
I kept getting updates on others about like it's coming, and then it was like be ready, and then it was kind of like never mind. So
Yeah, let's starting to cool down just a little bit finally. But it's so warm today.
Oh, it would have been a lot nicer if I'm sorry to save this for the very last of the show, but last week the reason I bring this just like hit my brain is because with all of the wind, I've had lots of gumballs in my yard.
Oh! Yes, I almost forgot.
And I am upset because prior to today, I had a perfectly clean, beautiful looking yard. Thanks to some hand rakes. And let me tell you, I'm going to have to find, obviously, a photo to send to you guys to see this that Megan took of me using them because it's magical. And
is it magical?
It is magical. I mean, I appreciated it. I don't know about Megan, but so I need to figure out these things. These again, they are kind of, they're big discs that you put your hand in the back, and they've got these teeth on them, and they allow you to bend down and scoop up with your hands. And you can pick up.
They look kind of like big, scary catcher's mitts, right? That's what they remind me of.
Yeah,
the way
they're
they're shaped, they're like big, broad, like.
Yeah, well, I'm going to send these to you. These are different. They look a little different. I wish I had a close up of these, but they're basically like just big saucers that you put on your hands and kind of like make your hands wide, right? And then at the end, they've got kind of teeth, so you kind of rake things towards you. But the teeth. So first thing, let's go with build construction. Awful. These are not good.
They look smaller than I thought they would.
They look like trash can lids that you just put on your hand.
But like they look too small. They don't even look like the size of a dinner plate. These things look tiny.
This is exactly. These are probably, I don't know. I mean, they're probably 18 inches across. Maybe 20. Maybe 20. Yeah. I mean, because my hands. Yeah, they're probably. No, you're right. They're probably more like 12. I think they're about 12 inches across.
Yeah, they look
12 inches across.
They look too small. They're not 18 inches across.
No, sorry. They're probably 12. Why do I have random pictures showing up? They're probably 12 inches across.
It's fine.
Which doesn't sound that much, but when you have the paper bag there, or when you have a bag, you don't. If these are too large, you can't then dump these into the bag, right? And that was something that I actually struggled with, was that the bag opening was kind of the same. It wasn't enough to really make it comfortable to drop these in easily, so you kind of had to funnel them down with your hands. But build construction, these at least whatever these are,
because this is not the prescribed giant plastic leaf bag. See, that's
well, but if you want the city to take them, or if you want to be able to just jump out of your car and huck them into the city compost pile, you use paper bags.
I mean, that's true, I suppose.
Which is what I want. So
you could just dump them out of the bag, just like
but then it's a lot more handling. I just really want to throw them and then run away. So these are very thin, which was something that I kept running into. Was when I'm reaching down to pick up these gum balls, I felt like I was having to kind of bend the plastic with my fingers, and I was having to put a lot more tension on my hands than I originally thought that I would have to kind of mold these to shape them, because they were so thin, and kind of give them a little bit more rigidity with my hands. I was probably overthinking this when I was doing this, but the rakes themselves, the kind of like tines that you can't see in this photo because they're covered with and that the listeners obviously can't see because they're covered with gumballs, and because listeners can't see them because this is a podcast and not a video cast. But they're so thin that they can't really rake hard. And something that I have learned about my raking style is I'm an aggressive raker. I've broken one rake and I have bent the metal handle of another one. And so when I'm raking, we're really getting everything out of there. So if you go down, but once you get the big pile, it's kind of nice to just kind of get the last little bit of whatever's at the end with those little tines. But they're so spaced apart that you can't really get the fine stuff to add to the bag. So the one plus for these is that when you are scooping up, I filled 3 30-gallon bags of nothing but gumballs. And I have my yard looks like I have not raked it since I took this photo because of the gumball tree that sits above my house. So I have to go fill out probably another 3 of just nothing but gumballs. Anyway, when you're doing this with your normal hands or with gloves, you can only pick up so much, and the dents and gumballs are so voluminous, but you only get like 7 in your normal hands. So it is nice. Yeah. You can really tear through large piles with these, and you don't have to worry about getting stuck or poked with anything, which is something that I also appreciated. Because in this picture that you can probably see, there's a Burberry bush, which is those evil devil thorn bushes things that we used to have out at the house, where every time Dad would trim, you couldn't run around that corner that was closest to the tree.
Oh, the red ones?
Yeah, the red ones. Yeah. Where they're covered in thorns, where if you lose one stray thing, you'll step on it literally, and then you'll have a massive splinter in your heel.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So, best I can do is I trim those and I try and clean them up, everything, but there are strays, right? And so anytime I'm raking in the yard, I will guarantee find one of those. Even though I rake my yard apparently 1,000 times a year.
That's what I'm learning from this.
Oh my gosh, it's so bad. But it's like, these do, again, help you not have to poke and get stuck, because even with gloves, it can stick through stitches or whatever. And gloves, again, you're not really increasing your rate of being able to scoop. So I'm a little disappointed in their construction quality, because they just don't feel solid enough to where you could really grab a big pile and keep them together without them warping. But in the protecting your hands and allowing you to scoop up piles like this, I will say that since I'm usually scooping piles with my hands anyway, I was already bending down. These I didn't have to bend down as often because you're taking bigger chunks out of a pile, so it was kind of a win-win, I guess. But mostly Noah used these, and it was a lot of fun. So he would take one and set it flat on the ground, and then pile a bunch of gumballs on top of it, and then take the other one and put it on top, and then lift both of them, and then dump
like
them
a serving tray.
Like a serving tray, exactly, like a serving tray. So
a cloche, that's what that's called.
A cloche thing. Okay. I would probably give these particular ones. To me, the build quality, again, I keep harping on that, but it is kind of a big deal. Those knock it down to probably a 6 out of 10, but the usefulness is what gives it the 6 and not any lower, because they were genuinely helpful. I think if they were a better quality build, I would be better to recommend these. So.
Okay, so engineering question. What should they be made out of to make them superior at picking up things? Should they just be thicker plastic, or should they be like aluminum? What should they be made out of?
I think either a thicker plastic,
carbon fiber. I don't know. What
fiber. Is it? Yes, exactly. No, I think if they were still plastic, maybe thicker, but you could add ribbing on the backs of them to make the plastic more rigid. I think, because just adding some more structure to them, because right now these are perfectly smooth and perfectly flat, so you can just warp them and kind of
just deform,
wiggle them around. If you added that structure, that backing to make them more, I think that alone would, without getting the thickness issue, just adding that structure would really be beneficial for these.
Okay, so they can't flex, and you can actually
yes.
push things together.
Yes, that would be good. Because again, because they flexed, I was worried about them deforming and then me losing stuff, or them, the surface area being smaller. So I would take my fingers and kind of push against the plastic as it was warping, as I was scooping stuff. And that just that tires your hands out after a while.
Yeah, true. Ah, there we go.
So
ribbing. There we go. Like,
yeah, 6 out of 10. Needs, yeah. So anyway, that's the hand rake review. I am finally glad to have done that, and we'll use them again once we because I have to get up tomorrow and rake.
You say all of the leaves have been blown down again because of the severe windstorm today. So
but the space between my house and my neighbor's house is like 2 driveways width, or a little less. And it is just a wind tunnel where all of the leaves get funneled in and pushed up against my gate. And I literally have like
oh no
3 feet of just now brand new leaves against my gate that I have to come in and dig out and put in bags. So I'm doing leaves on that side and all gumballs in the front.
So what you're saying is leaf fort. Okay, got it. That's what you're saying.
Leaf fort and a half. I will say that when we did go to the city compost, which is 15 minutes from my house, it's not too out of the way, but I can only fit 3 of these yard waste bags in my Jeep at a time. So I have I have
dear.
I had 18 of these bags, and I had one that I had filled, and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get this taken. But before I take that bag, I need to go rake my yard. Well, I filled 3 other bags. So then I had 4 bags. And I was like, I can't fit 4. So I had up to 18, and then I took 3. So I still have quite a few bags that I need to go.
Gosh, what the heck?
It's a lot. And what's annoying is that the service that we pay for the city is extra $5 a month, and they'll come and literally take anything away. They stop it at the end of November, and they don't pick it up.
Oh, no.
Yeah, which is when I need it. I need it the most.
They know that. That's why they're
I think they know this. They don't resume it until like March, and I'm like, I'm not storing 18 bags of leaves.
Except for you will, just out of spite, like, oh, I'm storing I can't
in my garage. So all of our I don't want to put them outside because they're just going to rot, and the bags are going to rot through, and they're going to
blow away and open again,
and get knocked over, whatever. So it's like I'm just going to line my walls with leaf bags. You think?
Put in the coal chute.
Just I'm up to my eyeballs in leaves. Oh, I know. The actual answer to this is get a gas powered lawnmower where I can just mulch them in place and not have to worry about this and have it auto bag and do blah blah blah. I love not having to put gas in my lawnmower and using an electric weed eater. It's so nice. It's so quiet. I can do yard work at any time of day when kids
are not
napping.
An electric weed electric leaf option.
There is there is they obviously bigger and bulkier, but there is an electric option. Again, but the plus with that is my yard is tiny, so I don't really need a lot.
That's true.
That's the biggest thing with these is like, you get a battery powered one, you can do 7 feet. Ha! Checkmate. Mine is 6, so we're good.
Yeah, I can't turn it around, so
we're good. So I think that's probably an option right now. I'm still enjoying the reel mower plus raking to address the yard issues. I think though, leaves are so bad. So anyway, my leaf saga continues. We are taking one step at a time. So
I guess you just cut the tree down, and then you would.
Yeah. No,
don't have to worry about it.
We like trees.
I have a different tree, not a gumball tree.
Yeah. We did plant a bur oak, so in 100 years it'll be fine.
Oh yes, a short time away. That's right, though. That's funny. Ouch.
Yes. So, well,
thank you for that important consumer update.
Consumer update.
Yeah.
I haven't yet found a link to these things. I don't know where our client purchased them. So if I find that, it'll be in the show notes so you can go and revel in these and see what other people are saying. But
right.
Yes. So you may now sleep at ease, knowing.
Oh, okay. Phew. I was worried.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Wait, what? Anyway, so try not to get blown away, and
I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yep, and we'll do this again next time.
All right.
Okay. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Bye.
Love you too.
Bye.